This is what it actually looks like. The ground inside Aokigahara, volcanic rock buried under centuries of moss, ferns pushing through cracks in the stone, no path markings, no sounds, just this, stretching in every direction, for 35 square kilometers, and somewhere beneath all of it, the dead. These roots, growing sideways, forced horizontal by the volcanic rock beneath them. The trees can't grow down, so they grow around. The forest looks like something interrupted it, something that's still there. Aokigahara sits at the base of Mount Fuji. It formed roughly 1,200 years ago from a massive volcanic eruption. The lava flow cooled and hardened into the rock you see in these photos. And then, over centuries, the forest grew on top of it. Dense, dark, disorienting. The kind of forest that looks the same in every direction. The volcanic rock beneath the forest floor is rich in magnetic iron. Compasses don't work here. The needle spins. GPS signals weaken. Phones lose signal. People who enter with a clear destination and a working compass still walk in circles. The scientific explanation exists. It doesn't make it less unsettling. Because knowing why the compass fails doesn't help you find your way out. From outside the forest, Mount Fuji is visible, enormous, permanent, beautiful. From inside the forest, you can't see it at all. The canopy closes above you, the sky disappears, and you are completely alone with whatever is in there with you. The first thing I noticed when I walked in was the silence. Not quiet. Silence. No birds, no insects, no wind reaching the forest floor. Just the sound of my own footsteps and the feeling that something was listening to them. The Japanese have known about this place for over 1,000 years, long before it had its modern reputation, long before anyone outside Japan had heard of it. They called it Jukai, the Sea of Trees, and they believed something lived here long before the first human set foot inside. In Shinto belief, the oldest religious tradition in Japan, certain places accumulate spiritual energy over time. Mountains, rivers, ancient forests, places where the boundary between the living world and what lies beyond it becomes thin. Aokigahara was one of those places before anyone died here. Before anyone was brought here, the forest was already considered cursed, already considered dangerous, already considered somewhere that the dead did not leave easily. Jukai wa昔から知っていた. The Sea of Trees has always known. The Yurai, Japan's vengeful spirits, are not like Western ghosts. They don't haunt houses, they haunt locations. Places where they died with unresolved emotion, rage, grief, despair. A forest where thousands of people have died with exactly those emotions over the course of 1,000 years. Is not a place the Yurai leave. It's a place they accumulate, but before the modern association. Before the world knew this forest's name. Something happened here that the Japanese have never fully stopped talking about. It was called Ubasute, abandonment. During the Edo period, during times of famine, when families could not feed everyone, the elderly were brought to Aokigahara and left, not killed, left, to walk deeper into the forest until they couldn't walk anymore. The family would return home and not speak of it, because there was nothing to say, because everyone understood, because survival required it, and because the alternative was worse. When I stood on that ground, looking at the moss and the volcanic rock and the twisted roots, I thought about that, about how many people took their last steps on that exact ground, how many of them looked back, How many of them didn't? The ground doesn't show it. But it knows. Ubasute was never officially sanctioned, never written into law. But it happened, documented in literature, referenced in historical accounts, practiced widely enough that an entire forest became associated with it. That association never left. It just changed shape. In 2004, the local government stopped releasing the annual death count. The official reason, the numbers were making it worse. Media coverage was making it worse. The association was making it worse. So they stopped counting publicly, which means the actual number is something only a small group of officials knows, and they're not telling. Every spring, a group of volunteers walks the perimeter of Aokigahara. They go in teams. They follow specific routes. They look for things that shouldn't be there. Personal belongings, camping equipment set up and abandoned, notes and shoes, always shoes, left neatly at the tree line, as if whoever left them expected to come back. They didn't. Inside the forest, particularly in the areas off the main path, search teams have found things that suggest people camped there for days before making their final decision. Journals, food wrappers, photographs, evidence of people who came here not impulsively, but deliberately, who sat with the forest for a while before the forest got what it came for. There are signs posted throughout Aokigahara, in Japanese and English. They ask people to reconsider, to call a number, to think of their family. The signs are weathered. Some of them are old. The forest keeps growing around them. The signs stay. The forest stays, and every spring, the volunteers go back in. The survivors, people who entered Aokigahara with the intention of not leaving and then did, describe the same thing. Not a voice, not a figure, not anything they could point to and name. Just a feeling, deep inside the forest, a pull, like the forest itself was making a decision about them, and hadn't finished yet. I didn't experience that. I want to be honest about that. I stayed on the path. I didn't go deep enough. I took my photos and I left. But I noticed something that I couldn't explain then, and I'm not sure I can explain now. The silence wasn't empty. It had weight, like something filling a space that sound usually occupies. And when I walked back out into the light, I looked back once. I don't know why. The path was exactly the same, but it felt different. It felt like I had just been looked at. The compasses stopped working because of the magnetic iron. That's the scientific explanation. But it doesn't explain why people who enter with a clear destination walk always deeper, never toward the exit. It doesn't explain the shoes, it doesn't explain the pull, and it doesn't explain why, of all the places a person could choose, they keep choosing this one. Aokigahara is not a legend. It's not folklore. It's a real forest at the base of a real mountain in a country I live in. I've stood where these photos were taken, and whatever is in that forest, whatever has accumulated there over 1,000 years of the dead, it's still there. It will be there long after this video is forgotten, long after the signs rot, long after the volunteers stop coming. The forest will still be there, waiting until next time. Stay on the path.